Mike Edwards, Cushman & Wakefield, based in Budapest, but covering the Central European region. This year's MIPIM's been quite interesting. We've, if I'd come a year ago and asked to speak about sort of Hungary or Romania or Serbia, most investors, frankly, would have thrown me into the sea. But what we're seeing this year is people are much more keen to at least talk about these markets. I think as pricing gets more and more aggressive in Poland and the Czech Republic, people are beginning to see value elsewhere in the region, and that bodes well for the future. So we're hopefully this time next year we're going to have a few more transactions right the way across the region, and hopefully that's going to be certainly in Hungary and certainly Romania, and hopefully that will also filter down to Serbia, Bulgaria, and the rest of the Balkans. This year's MIPIM has been quite buoyant, a lot more buoyant than perhaps in the last few years. I think people are expecting to do a lot more deals, both in the core markets but also in the non-core markets. I mean, Serbia's, I think, a very underdeveloped real estate market. I think there's an awful lot of opportunity which should come through to that market. Now, Cushman & Wakefield have got no immediate chances, no immediate sort of plans to be directly present in the market, but I think as the market improves, as the opportunities increase, then obviously you'll begin to see the companies that were expanding a few years ago and have recently been contracting. I think they'll start to look again at at Serbia and Belgrade in particular.
I think the MIPIM is, as it is always, yeah? Many people, many talks, some are productive, some are not. For me, MAPIC is the more professional. There are more actual businesses done. We don't have many properties in the region. I think we have one or two in Serbia, which are left over from the past. We try to start a retail park rollout. There are two obstacles. One is landowners want too much money, and secondly, compared to that, retailers are not prepared to pay enough rent to make it feasible. So for the time being, unfortunately, Serbia is not possible for us. If realism takes place with either landowners and or tenants, then everything is possible. But for the time being, it's not possible. Yeah, Serbia will come more into the focus also of institutional investors. Also, if you look to Croatia, it has nothing done really to the market. Croatia or Zagreb is still seen as a sort of border location, and is not really in the focus of institutional international investors. We would not care about that, especially not for a product like a retail park, because we have 52 retail parks throughout Europe, from Poland through Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, Slovenia. So Serbia would fit into that picture. But for office space, maybe the one or the other location in Belgrade, but that's it. Yeah, if you have the critical mass here, we don't have. We have not yet started. We do logistics in Germany, we do it in Hungary, we do it in Romania. So many people are already on the way to build and buy logistic parks, so I don't think that we go to Serbia.
This is the third day of MIPIM, and I think it's been very positive compared to last year. We're publishing commercial real estate magazines covering Central Eastern Europe, Russia, called Europa Property, and we've had, I'd say this was one of the most positive years we've had in the past several. Seems like more people, like more stands, and also just seems to be more money flowing and more deals being done. About the conferences, there's been some very good conferences that I've attended. One on Central Eastern Europe, the digital revolution, very good. It just was talking about how the markets are changing in the digital revolution is coming into CEE and SEE region. So very well attended. I think it's the biggest project in the, at least in the SEE region for sure. Very, very aggressive. Very, just I guess mega, one of the mega projects in the region. And I of course wish them well. And it looks like it's going to work. Well, there's quite a few more companies asking me about Serbia this year than there were last year. Quite a few more that are at least interested in potentially entering the market or visiting the market and seeing what the opportunities are. CE in general is doing very well. Poland is still doing well. Czech Republic is still doing well. Romania is starting to come back up from last year, and I think I've heard a few good things about Bulgaria as well, and Serbia. Like I said, more information is coming back, and I think, of course, it would probably be even better if the Serbian government had a stand here. Well, I think it installs, it raises the profile, number one, and also adds confidence or gives confidence to investors to come onto the market. If they're even interested or thinking about Serbia and there's no one here to talk to, then they forget about it. So I think for Serbia and Belgrade market, it's better that they're here. It's better that they're displaying and showing that they're also motivated in getting investors to come onto the market.
Yes, it's 25 years of MIPIM. I've been here at MIPIM for the last 20 years, so it's double anniversary. You can tell with these numbers when you get older. MIPIM is a very unusual place in many ways. First, it's probably the most global real estate meeting place in the world. It is in the south of France, and we're the early spring. It's sunny, it's warm, and the mood is good. So it is a special place, and for professional and for personal reasons, I like to be here. Yes, so generally I would say compared to the last 6-7 years, the mood has never been better than this year. The interest is there. Generally the markets are doing well. Even Southern Europe, like Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, which had a lot of problems, have now stabilized. I think all would be very well if we would not have the unfortunate situation in Ukraine, which casts a dark shadow over it, and especially people from the area of former Yugoslavia know that if peace is not secured, everything else is in doubt. So this is one of the few negative things, but generally the mood in investment circles generally is good. In hospitality sector, it's especially good. Okay, we define the region to which Serbia belongs as Adriatic Sea region, which encompasses former Yugoslavia, so from Slovenia to Macedonia, and includes also Albania. So that is our region of Adriatic Sea, and we see Belgrade as the most important city and the hub of this region. So. Even though it's not one country anymore, still Belgrade is kind of the centerpiece of this whole development, and we see it also reflected in hotel performance. So Belgrade has the strongest hotel performance among all the cities. So that is quite interesting for us, and I think I repeat myself compared to the last years, but Belgrade is also a very exciting city. So it is the cultural hub of the region, and definitely the entertainment hub of the region as well. I mean, we all are aware what is planned there. This huge EMA project and other projects as well. It is exciting to see. It's exciting to see foreign investment into the region and into Serbia especially. We have seen a very positive step, I think, with the partial acquisition of the national airline Air Serbia, which I think you can already feel what impact it has on the psychology and eventually also on the economy. It's also reality that you will see now more investment from unusual parts of the world. So there's more likely to be investment from Middle East or from China or from Russia than maybe there is from Western Europe or America. It's a new world order. You take investment where you get it from. No. This is still, I mean, let's be honest, we have upcoming elections, we have still some uncertainty. I think the long-term expectation of most people in Europe is now that Serbia will be the next country, maybe together with Montenegro, to join the European Union. And this gives more confidence to potential investors. Right now, still, investors are traditional investors from traditional countries like Western Europe are still scared to invest in Serbia, but gradually I think the picture is improving. So as long as there's an economic and political stability, I think the investment climate is gradually improving. Where we see already a huge shift is the interest from operators. They all want to come to Serbia, to Belgrade especially, because they know that Belgrade is a strong and upcoming market. So this is the first step, the interest from the operators and the guests. The next step must be, of course, investors. But there's still a lot of work to be done on the political front, on the taxation front, labor law. So I think Serbia must work very hard to create an investment climate which makes it enticing for international investors to come. It is not all good yet. So don't get me wrong, as much as I'm enthusiastic about the prospects, especially Belgrade, a lot of homework needs to be done, and the bureaucracy, corruption needs to be tackled, and I hope that the current stability on the political front, with politicians who try to compromise, who try to stabilize, including the situation in Kosovo. I think that's very helpful for the standing of Serbia internationally. So I think you're on a good track, but don't give up. You see, if things don't go well, you see what's happening in Bosnia, how messed up the economy there is, and part of it is because too much bureaucracy, too much political infighting, no agreement. This is what international investors hate. So you need to create a stable, safe investment climate. Then the investors will eventually come. It's not there yet, but in 2-3 years, I could imagine we are in this phase.
Good afternoon, Belgrade. Good afternoon, Serbia. Good afternoon, the entire region. What I called in the past the united difference, and the entire region. I just wanted to say a few words because you're not in Cannes this week, and Cannes usually it's like the spring, and it's the end of the winter for a lot of people. This year it's not spring, this year it's summer. It's summer, and we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. 25th anniversary, 25 years of successful stories. And we had, as countries of honor this year, 3 countries. Russia, because they've been coming for many years, and we needed to explain this huge market. Brazil, because it's a kind of a new destination. And Turkey, as last year, to give and provide you with new stories. So we're very happy with this 25th anniversary, because after 25 years it is still growing, and what is good about anniversaries is you look at the back, what you've achieved, and you look at the future and what's going to happen in the next 25 years. Okay, so it's a great year, and I'm only sad of one thing. There is only one regret on this MIPIM, is that we don't have an exhibitor from Serbia. We don't have Belgrade. What a pity, what a pity. But thanks to Eagle Hills from Abu Dhabi, thanks to them, yesterday they welcomed the mayor of Belgrade just to launch and present to the rest of the world the new face of Belgrade. What is going to look in the future? I think you've seen on your news a lot of photos, a lot of this model, and thanks to them, and MIPIM is the place where we build the future of our cities. So thanks again to Eagle Hills Abu Dhabi. Belgrade is represented this year at MIPIM, but I think next year I really hope to welcome again the mayor of Belgrade and a strong delegation from Serbia, because you need to show your country to the rest of the world and to the investors. So that's one point thing. And what can I say else? In June, I'm looking forward to my next trip. Every year, and unfortunately I only attend once a year and visit once a year Belgrade, and I'll be happy to meet you in REBEC at the end of June this year. Thank you.